I was sent this post, and this wife posted this in the Am I Overreacting subreddit and the Marriage subreddit. She says, my husband told me why he cheated on me. It just came to my attention that my husband has been cheating on me off and on for 2 years. He started cheating on me while I was pregnant because I didn't feel like having sex due to pregnancy symptoms. He cheated on me with two different women. The first girl was a stranger he just met when he was out one night. But there's this one girl in particular that he keeps having sex with. They've been friends with benefits for almost a year now. I asked my husband why. Why would he do this to me? He and I have a family together. We built a life together, and he threw away 8 years for a girl that hasn't even graduated college yet. He said to me, she's so beautiful. She's quiet. She's simple. She's not annoying. She doesn't nag me. She doesn't argue. She's not combative. She's not overweight and she's not lazy. She's fun and she's spontaneous. I forget about my troubles when I'm around her. She makes my life easier opposed to complicating it like you. She's just everything you're not anymore. I'm sorry, anymore, but you used to be. She's a younger version of you. She reminded me of you 15 years ago. I'm honestly still processing. It doesn't feel like it's real. I keep thinking I'm going to wake up from this nightmare. I feel so bad about myself. Everything he said to me actually made me feel worse than when I found out about his affair. When a man has a wife at home and he cheats on her, the woman that he is cheating with is getting the benefit of that spouse that is at home. She is getting the man that has his meals cooked for him, his laundry done, who is doing the bulk of the child rearing so he doesn't have to worry about it, that's pulling the majority of the load so he can be refreshed. She is, sleep deprived. She's stressed. She's all of this because she is taking on the bulk of the responsibilities so he can be refreshed. He's a parasite. He's sucking the resources off of her. And so she gets stressed. She gets downtrodden. She, gets the wrinkles and all this. And he gets to be refreshed. So refreshed that he has the energy to go off and cheat. That's simply, that's another reason why I think that affairs, once the spouse actually leaves, I think that jacks up the affair partner. Like, you're not the same person that I had because that person no longer has the spouse at home taking care of things. And I've said this enough to where the people who follow me will say the same thing. And I'm glad. We need to be opening up our eyes to the fact that these men who are in relationships, when they go off and do their own thing, they have benefited from being in a relationship with you. So just let them go. Just let him go and let him have that woman over there. Don't just be like, I bet. Go live your life. What she said to the woman, BurbNBougie has a great take on this kind of scenario. Your husband benefits from all of the unpaid labor you do, taking care of your child, domestic chores. But here's the kicker. The affair partner is also benefiting from your unpaid labor. He shows up at her house wearing clothes you washed with the food you prepared in his belly. Sure, she doesn't nag and is more fun to be with. She gets to have all of the fun with none of the work, none of the responsibility. Once you take yourself out of the picture, their dynamic will change. But you don't need to concern yourself with that. Focus on getting your ducks in a row regarding custody, child, and spousal support. Do it on the low. Be as stealthy as he was before you found out about the cheating. Once everything is in place, that's when you show your card. This person says, my friend used to do all these things for her ex-fiance. The coworker of his that cheated with would always comment about how well dressed he was and how he packed such healthy lunches. It's like, no, Sherlock, because his fiance picked out his clothes and packed his food. Meanwhile, he would call the girl raccoon to my face because of how she did her makeup. But of course, he was cheating. These men should never breed. And then Trevor Teen Ghost says, yeah, that's the bitter irony of it. Many of the things that the affair partner that finds attractive about a man are the things the wife or girlfriend does for him. He dresses nice. His wife or girlfriend bought the clothes. He smells good. His wife or girlfriend gave him that expensive cologne for Christmas. He's healthy and fit. His wife or girlfriend makes the healthy meals for him, makes his medical and dental appointments, and encourages him to go to the gym. And on it goes. Okay, so this person says, ooh, STDs, what an a-hole. And then the OP says, I have gotten tested. I don't have STDs. So that's a good thing. The person says, glad to hear it. He doesn't respect you. This person says that you should even need to think about that. It's just garbage. Be strong. Take care of you and your kid. You got this, though it might not seem like it right now. What social media is doing is being a big community, a big virtual community. It sucks going through this, but to know and understand that somebody is trying to give you rational information because your brain is all over the place. Her life is about to change, but the internet is like coming for like, you got this, you got this. So this one says, I'm in a similar position. My heart breaks for you. I read this and realized we both deserve so much more. You aren't breaking up your family by leaving. He did when he cheated. And then the OP says, you're right. And then this person says, babes, read through my post history. You will see my ex did the same thing to me. Told me I was the problem. The other girl was unproblematic and an escape. I listened to him. I stayed 8 awful months with him. And guess what? He cheated again and he blamed me again. My worst mistake was taking him back the first time. He never showed any remorse. In fact, he continued being disrespectful to my face in other ways. I didn't know any better. I didn't have any family or friends in that state. He brainwashed me. That is the reason why it is so important to keep talking. Tell your stories. And that's another reason why I will keep on telling these stories as well, because it gives people the opportunity to share and to see that what they're going through isn't normal. It isn't healthy. It's not a good position to be in. And to give somebody maybe the courage to think about walking away. All right, jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. So this was posted in my BurbNBougie subreddit. This woman captioned this man's comment with, he said the quiet part out loud. Men only want women as their sex dolls who will just open their legs for them. They don't care about their women's pleasure. So here is the actual comment from Massive Ad. This is ridiculous. Men don't ask women to protect them. Men don't feel entitled to a woman's money. We don't ask you to pay all our bills. We don't require you to sign up for the selective service. We don't force you to fight in wars. All we ask is that you lay on your back and open your legs. Women can't even do that without complaining. Number one, let's go back up to the first half of his comment. The patriarchy. They are literally tired of the patriarchy because women did not create these rules. Other men did. Men are the ones that created these rigid roles, protect and provide, and men are supposed to do this and women are supposed to do that. Men are the ones that told men that they're supposed to be the providers. Women didn't say this. And now that women are able to actually work and provide for themselves, it's a glitch in the system. It's a glitch in their brain because these men are still thinking, if I provide, if I put in 4 quarters, I'm supposed to get a treat on the other end. They really think that if they take woman to dinner equals sex treat on the other end. And so it's a glitch. Like their brain doesn't know how to handle that. And then also, women are not the ones that created the selective service. Women are not the ones creating war and sending other men off to war to fight other men in other countries. It's other men that are doing that. Men are the ones that are pro-war, pro-sending, creating havoc, wreaking havoc and death and destruction. That is not women. So if they want to solve that, they need to take it up with other men, but they won't. Why? Because they would rather argue with women and try to tell women what to do. And then he says, all we ask is that you lay on your back and open up your legs. They literally don't see the humanity in women, and they wonder why women are opting out. Why are women just walking away? Because we are humans and we want to be treated as such and not just a fleshlight. We are more than that. We're more than a bang maid. And they haven't had their programming updated to the 2024 version. Anyway, let's look at some of these comments on the post. So, okay, Hovercraft says, men don't feel entitled to women's money. And then this person, the OP says, he also said housework is easy, and that's why there are more housewives, not house husbands. I don't know what world many of these men live in, but Most households have both people working. Most households do not have housewives. I don't know which reality or which universe this person is living in. And the whole drizzle movement is saying that yes, they do feel entitled to women's movement money. They just saying it jokingly, but I know that they want these women's money. They need a submissive provider. Techno Viking said if all they want is someone to lay on their back and open their legs without complaint, they need an sex doll, not a woman. Go back down into your crevice, shrimp. Warm Stop says, or another man, since that's all he cares about. He'll be more likely to find one who's just as sex driven as he is without having to put any real effort into getting someone into it. He sounds delightful, by the way. What woman wouldn't want to lay down and spread her legs for this man? Sarcasm. This person says, it's like my dad wrote this, laughing my butt off. And someone's like, gross. I'm sorry you grew up with a dad like that. The Concrete Ghost says, I don't ask men to protect me. I tell them to leave me alone and be better than an animal that wants to attack me. If they act like an animal, well, I have a little something to handle them. And then Warm Stop responds with, who are they protecting us from if they do? Other women? I doubt it. I've never seen anybody so proud to thump their chest about their sex being the problem and the answer. They don't trust each other, friends, or coworkers around women they're attached to because they don't think highly of other men, but still claim that we're the problem or ask for too much. This isn't a logical conclusion from the group that claims to think more logically. Yes, the most logical leaders. Fearless Adeptness says, every day I wake up vindicated. I am single, unmarried, with no children. Absolutely. And the more of these stories that come out, the more that men keep talking, the more they keep making videos and making comments, the more women will get 4B, pro 4B, and pro West 4B. And actually, women across the globe are going to be popping up, creating their own 4B movement in their country. Anyways, jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Okay, so this post was sent to me. It's from the 2X chromosome subreddit. She says, does anyone else experience major food anxiety in their relationship? She says, I, 31-year-old female, cannot seem to keep my husband from eating my food. Let me build a foundation here. My husband is 6'6". He is an eating machine. He used to weigh over 300 pounds and started intermittent fasting and exercise, and has now gotten to a point where he's exercising regularly and doing a great job of gaining muscle and taking care of his body. The dude eats. I cannot seem to stay on top of it. Early in our relationship, I started to realize that every time I wanted to make myself something to eat, basic ingredients would be consumed. I couldn't make myself toast or a sandwich because one loaf of bread would be gone in 2 to 5 days. The same would happen with the ingredients I bought to make dinner. I plan meals and buy ingredients for those meals. But he would use those ingredients on late night binges while I'm sleeping, and I'd be left unable to make the dinners I planned and shopped for. Not only does he have a voracious appetite, he's also an extremely able cook, so he can look in the fridge and throw something together. Also, he would feel self-loathing for eating things and actively tell me not to buy bread because if I buy bread, he eats it and then feels bad about his choices. I want a goddamn sandwich or toast every once in a while. Bread is the main repeating offender. So we'll just use that as the prime example. Number one, the bread is not the offender. The bread is not doing anything except being bread. So don't blame the bread. Blame the husband. All right, she says, eventually I got fed up and told him I was going to start buying his and hers bread and put my bread in a separate cabinet. He did not like this idea because he said it felt insulting. I did it anyway. It worked okay, and I started doing it with other staple items that disappeared quickly, like peanut butter and tortillas. Apparently, I'm not replenishing things quickly enough because he's been dipping into my stash several times over the past couple of weeks, even polishing off some of my stuff. So she has to treat him like a toddler or a dog that would just keep eating if you kept putting food out. I don't even know if dogs do that. I'm sorry. I'm not a pet mom. I'm sorry. Okay, so let me not even bash a dog. but he's definitely not acting like a full grown human. Okay. She says, I had just gotten home from work, she's a nurse, and went to make myself a sandwich and realized my bread was almost gone. I said, please stop getting into my stuff. He said, well, you have to get me some too. I said, I did. This is the same loaf from when I last bought you a loaf of the same size. He rolls his eyes at me. I told him, I know you think it's silly, but I don't think it's silly. So I'm buying a cabinet lock. I can't think of any other solution. He has food. There's plenty to eat and make in this house. He also has two legs and a debit card. He can buy himself groceries. Exactly. Why is it so hard for these people to come up with solutions? I'm tired of being angry and anxious because I can't have some simple food items without them being gone overnight. He's also the type to finish his food, see that I'm not done with my plate, and playfully grab my plate for a bite. It used to be funny, but with how much of a fight it's been to have him keep his hands to himself, I now get really angry and territorial, and he thinks I'm being so extra and mean. It's just all compounded, and he hasn't shown consistent efforts to respect my boundaries. So now I just have to treat him like a child and lock my effing cabinets. Sorry if this is a weird post for this sub. I wasn't sure where to express this. This is totally about boundaries. It's about having to treat these adult humans like children, but they are the most logical leaders. They built everything, but can't seem to be able to build a sandwich. What is so hard? This is the reason why a lot of women are just like not trying to live with one of these people, because they can't do these basics by themselves, and it's kind of ridiculous. Anyways, let's get into some of the comments. So he gets annoyed when he doesn't have any more food, but doesn't care at all that you have no food, despite you being the one buying the groceries. If he continues to be selfish, you are perfectly entitled to get a lock. This person says a lock is not actually fixing the behavior. He has to have the expectation to immediately replace what he finishes until he gets used to it or stops eating things so he doesn't have to replace it. This person says $10 he breaks off the lock. To be honest, this person says I'll do 20. This person says imagine buying a lock to protect your food in your own home instead of breaking up with the person who disrespects you enough to steal your effing food. Okay, this part. The patriarchy has done a number to our agency and self-respect. Absolutely, because we value being in a marriage more than like simple things like this. How think about this marriage going on 10 years, 20 years. It's going to be a whole mess having to deal with this, always having to come up with solutions because this person cannot properly take care of himself or control himself or like problem solving, go get his own food. Towards the bottom. Best case scenario is that he has terrible self control and is a little bit narcissistic. The lock will cause him to go, holy really? Am I actually worse than I realized? I mean, it's possible. But definitely thinking the most likely option is that he sees the lock and thinks, WTF, she doesn't trust me. She's been doing the grocery shopping wrong and is trying to blame me. F that. Now, whether he breaks the lock or is more the silent, sulky type, well, that's where your $10 should be placed on, I guess. What do y'all think of this story? What do y'all think of having to handle a grown man like this with a lock? Having to separate your food into a separate cabinet. I might hide treats in a separate cabinet from my children, but I certainly don't have to hide food from my husband. That just sounds really weird and juvenile. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about this. If you made it this far and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the follow button. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.